Hey guys, I know I haven't posted one of these in a while. I had just been busy traveling, and so I wanted to make sure I posted all my travel blogs before it got too late. And so now that I'm caught up on my travel blogs, I am able to post a cancer talk video. So one of the girls at my school is like really into doing hair. She tried to dye my hair blue, so we bleached it, and it didn't really work. So like this part's kind of yellow, but that's basically it. This side you can see like it's lighter than my red. So it's kind of yellowish. And then we tried to dye it blue and it turned out green. It was so weird. So I just had like green hair for like 2 days and then just washed out. But anyway, so today's talk is something that a lot of doctors don't talk about it with their patients, which is kind of bad because it's a big important issue, especially for like a lot of girls out there going through cancer treatment and even guys too. Like I want to talk about fertility going through cancer treatment. Here's a little bit about my story. Kids have always been important part of my life. I'm like, oh, I want my little ginger kids because, they're going to be so cute and they'll be gingers. Like, I got the call on Friday that I had stage 4 cancer. And then Monday, Tuesday, I was in surgery getting a port put in and getting a stent put in my colon so my colon didn't collapse. And then Wednesday, I started chemo. And so since I started chemo like so fast, they didn't even talk about fertility with me. And it's something I brought up with my doctors. They didn't even tell me. I brought it up. I'm like, will I ever be able to have kids? And they're like, probably not. The time we had talked about it, I had already gone through 1 round of chemo. So they're like, your eggs are pretty much fried already, so it's not worth saving them. So it was too late for me to save my eggs or anything, so I probably won't be able to have kids. And then we also kind of talked about it at camp. The majority of young adults there had cancer as they were kids, and then they just grew up to be adults with cancer or adults in remission from cancer. They also had this same issue because, now that they're adults, they're like, oh, what about kids, and something they didn't think about when they were a kid going through treatment. And oftentimes, like, their parents didn't tell them about it. I've heard, like, many stories are like, yeah, my parents didn't even tell me about it. Like, they were 16, younger than that even, and they're like, yeah, my parents didn't even talk to me about it. So, like, the chances of them having kids, too, is, like, really slim. I know you're trying to save the main focus is saving our lives. Then what happens after you save our life? And, we just have a future, and there's nothing a whole lot there because, we can't have kids. So, yeah, there's adoption and whatnot, but some of us want to have our own kids. One of the girls at camp actually went through fertility treatments, and so she had her eggs harvested. But the thing is with that, you have to wait like until your next period, which if your period comes like the day after, you're good. You only had to wait like 5 days. But if you just had it, and then you have to wait like a month until your period comes, and then they can take eggs out from you. And so people are like, oh, you have to wait a month until you can start chemo. So they freak out. But the thing is, like, so I've had my cancer for about 5 years before we even knew about it. So what's the difference if I start chemo now or if I started in a month? I'm pretty sure it's not going to grow any bigger in that month period of time. Granted, my cancer is not fast spreading, but with faster spreading cancers, I can see where that's an issue. You can go through the procedure to harvest your eggs. But the other thing is it's really expensive, and insurance doesn't cover it. My friend said when she did it, it was $10,000 to $25,000 just for the procedure to remove your eggs. And that is really expensive, and insurance doesn't pay for it. And there's some foundations, she's like, one foundation gave me like $2,000, but yeah, that's like a lot of money. But then like to the extent of that you need 10 to 25, that's not a whole lot. You have to pay for your eggs to stay frozen until you want to use them. So if you had them extracted at 16 and you don't want to have kids until you're like 26, that's 10 years that you have to pay for your eggs to be frozen. That is not cheap either. I don't know how expensive that is, but I know it's not cheap. So like that's the other problem with the fertility issue. So like most people who have cancer, like young adults who have cancer or kids who have cancer, won't be able to have kids, and it's not an issue that is discussed. And so I wanted to talk about it and be like, yo, this is an issue that you need to bring up. Be like, just for your future, let's talk about babies. At camp, there was this ginger boy, and my friend was obsessed with having us like get together. She's like, you guys need to get together and make cute ginger babies. I'm like, and so every time we're together, she's like, go over there, go talk to him. You need to go talk to him and like make adorable little ginger children. And I'm like, that's awkward. I wrote him a note. I'm like, our friend thinks that I should bear your ginger children. I think this is awkward. And he wrote me a note back. He's like, yeah, this is awkward because I'm sterile. And I'm like, me too. So like the possibility of us having kids is like none. But it was always fun. We're just like, oh, make ginger babies, imaginary ginger babies, because we can't actually have children. Chasing Life, I am obsessed with the show. It is fantastic. Love the show. It is about a 24-year-old girl who has cancer. She's leukemia. This week's episode, they talk about fertility, and I'm really excited because it's not an issue that is discussed. And I'm surprised with how many people who have gone through cancer treatment, it's not even brought up. My doctors didn't even bring it up. I'm like, why do you not tell them that they're not going to be able to have kids? Like, that's a major life decision right there. Even just give them the option to be like, yo, you can try and harvest your eggs, or just give them the option. Because, I wanted to have kids, but I can't. Chasing Life actually brought up the issue, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're bringing this up. But they talk about fertility, and she explores the option having her eggs harvested, and I'm like, yes, she's doing it. She's gonna be able to have children, which is awesome. And I wish there was a foundation, or that more people would be able to have kids, because it is a problem. Like, yeah, they're trying to fight for their life, but then like after they win that battle, what's next? Yeah, in class today we actually talked about it too, not about cancer or anything, but about having kids and having a kid that like looks like you. And my teacher was like, it's brings a lot of joy to look at your child and be like, I made that. Like, this is what I made. This little child is of my creation. And I'm like, yeah, I will never have that. Thanks, though. Thanks for talking about how great it is to have your own kid. And then the day before this, the same teacher, he talked about having cancer, and he doesn't know that I have cancer and that I won't be able to have kids. I'm just like, can we not talk about this? Like, I don't mind talking about cancer. He kind of put a negative connotation on it. I'm just like, let's not. But anyways, it's like green, and then it has blue on it, and pink and red, but the red's kind of blends in with it. Those are my nails. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube page. I put out new videos every Thursday. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.